Welcome in, Irish fans. Happy Sunday, Victory Sunday. Notre Dame gives Purdue its worst loss in program history. 66-7 is the final score. I hope you feel good today. It was a thing of beauty. I want to talk about a few things. I definitely want to talk about some of the things that we did well yesterday. 66 points. That's a good start to things we did well yesterday. 3 touchdowns for Riley Leonard. Touchdown for Jeremiah Love. Touchdown for Jardarian Price. 2 touchdowns through the air for Steve Angeli. And big congratulations to Kevin Bauman. I don't know if you know the name, but he's been around the program for 5 years now. He's a graduate student. He's had some pretty bad injuries over the course of the years. And he was kind of one of those names for a while where we kind of thought that he was going to be the next big tight end at Notre Dame. Came in, ended up getting passed by Michael Mayer, ended up getting passed by now Eli Raridan, Cooper Flanagan, and Mitch Evans. Speaking of Mitch Evans, great ball game yesterday. We saw some great performance out of him. Didn't really see a whole lot of that in the Texas A&M game and NIU game. Some of that had to do with apparently he had an injury coming out of camp and it kind of limited his production. But great game for him yesterday. Jeremiah Love. Let me tell you what, Jeremiah Love is getting it done. And everybody's kind of been saying, we need to get more reps for him. We need to get him involved in the game more often. I think yesterday probably proved that. We didn't really see him in the second half of the football game. And to say that he is our number one halfback, HB1, if you will, might be an understatement. Jeremiah Love, or J Love, will probably be in the NFL, not next year, but the following year. And, I hope he sticks around, finishes his degree, because we're going to see a lot of good things from him at Notre Dame as long as he's here. Speaking of good halfbacks, Jardarian Price yesterday, 70-yard touchdown run. When they say speed kills in college football, Jardarian Price defined that yesterday. He had one guy to beat on that run. Didn't decide to try to make a miss or, put on the moves. He just turned on the speed. And by the time he got around the guy that was one-on-one defending him, there really wasn't anybody downfield to tackle him. Great game from the halfbacks. Great game running the ball. Riley Leonard, 212 combined yards. 100 yards through the air, 100 yards rushing, and 112 yards through the air on 11 passes on 16 attempts. His longest for the day was a 23-yard reception to a wide open Jaden Greathouse, which overall was a pretty beautiful pass. It was a little bit of a rub route. Greathouse, got free and did the rest. I want to talk about Steve Angeli. So we saw Steve Angeli for most of the second half yesterday. Steve Angeli completes the first touchdown pass at Notre Dame this season to Cooper Flanagan. And the second one to Kevin Bauman. So got both of the tight ends involved. Loved to see that. Loved to see him just air the ball out. He had some passes yesterday. We haven't seen a passing game like that. We haven't seen that from Riley Leonard. It was nice to see a quarterback stand in the pocket and spin the ball. Love to see that. Love to see a quarterback in this program doing what we think a quarterback should be doing, knowing that the running game, with players like Jeremiah Love and Jardarian Price are going to take care of it. That's going to take care of itself. And, I could talk about Anais Williams and the rest of the running backs that we have, or wide receivers that we get involved in the running game. Frankly, that's I think we proved yesterday that's our strong point. That's our strong suit. So what we have to develop is our passing game. Boubacar Traore yesterday, beautiful pick six. KVA got an interception there too. The entire defense as a whole played well. 7 3-and-outs from the Notre Dame defense yesterday, and we were one broken defensive play away from a shutout. Pretty impressive game. I want to go back really quick and talk about the quarterback situation, because I think that's kind of the popular subject right now. So we have two quarterbacks out there, and we've got our obvious QB1 for the time being, which is Riley Leonard. Leonard causes problems for the defense. Leonard's one-on-one matchups, man coverage, you got to put somebody on him. You can't have a single high safety being the only person covering Riley Leonard, and you can't leave a linebacker every time to cover him either. But somebody's got to be on him in man coverage. And the only way to deal with that is to have a free safety or a strong safety or one of your linebackers attached to him in some sort of quarterback spy scenario, or where the strong safety or the free safety's covering Riley Leonard, and that's a mismatch. And I think that's one of the big reasons why we continue to use Riley Leonard as our main quarterback, despite the challenges that he's had in getting the ball downfield and over the top. Now, 11 for 16 yesterday, that's not bad. They definitely drew up some plays to kind of get him comfortable throwing the ball a little bit. But the big concern, and I think one of the things that we're all seeing, is there were still no big passes downfield. Most of the big passes, the couple big gains that he had, one was that short pass to Greathouse, where Greathouse didn't have anybody within 5 yards of him and just did what Greathouse, he did what he does, right? He found room to run in open space. Another one was a shovel pass. So it was a 1-yard pass from behind the line of scrimmage, which basically amounted to a running play. And I think that was like 30% of our passing yards, or of his passing yards yesterday. They were both fairly short passes. Had a couple of opportunities to throw the ball deep downfield to wide open receivers. One in particular, you can go and look at my feed on Twitter, or just about anywhere else. You could probably put it into a search browser and take a look and see that, he had an opportunity to throw the ball downfield. It's probably going to be a 30, 35-yard throw. And if he had gotten the ball anywhere within a yard of that open receiver, he runs for a touchdown because he's completely uncovered. Instead, he chose to get it done with his feet, get the first down. But that was a miss. That was a miss on a free touchdown. Those are the kinds of opportunities that we cannot sacrifice in the weeks going forward. And he doesn't seem to be comfortable in a perfectly clean pocket. All the time in the world to throw, but he's in the pocket, moving around, kind of like it's almost like he's got the jitters. There's just nothing's making him feel terribly comfortable back there. And it's like he's just waiting for the hammer to drop and for somebody to lower the boom on him and put him on his butt any second. And yeah, that's the reality of playing quarterback, right? But not at the sacrifice of surveying what's going on downfield. He does a good job of protecting the ball and taking care of the ball. And I think that's why we continue to stick with that decision. On the other hand, you got Steve Angeli. Angeli had a great passing game yesterday. Had 100 yards of his own in 1.5 quarters. 2 passing touchdowns. Took care of the ball with his feet as well. But he made a couple of choices that probably have the coaches worried. And they're the kinds of choices that they're Steve Angeli decisions to try to be more like Riley Leonard. And what I mean by that is he feels like he's got to get something done with his feet and make a play out of nothing, when that's really not the player that he is. he's not the elusive quarterback that's going to go and take a guy on one and make something big happen. That's something that Riley Leonard does well. Now Angeli's quick. Don't take that wrong. Don't get me wrong there. Angeli is fast. And he's got a great arm. And he's got great accuracy throwing the ball down the field. But he's not elusive. He's not going to make people miss very often. That's what he's trying to do, or what he was trying to do in both of those situations. The 10-yard sack for a 10-yard loss and a sack for a 2-yard loss. He took 3 sacks yesterday. Those are the 2 that I remember that really stood out to me, where it was kind of an obvious decision. Steve, just throw the ball to the sideline. You're not even in the pocket anymore. Just throw it away. And it just didn't make a lot of sense. And if I'm the coach, if I'm the coaching staff, that's a cause for concern for me, that he's trying to do more than he, really is good at doing. And Steve's not sticking to Steve's strengths in those regards. He's trying to impress somebody. He's trying to win that QB1 position. That's my thought. That's why I think he's doing that. We've got Miami, Ohio coming up this week. Again, just like the NIU game, I haven't watched any Miami, Ohio footage. I don't really know what they look like overall as a team. I'll find out more before I broadcast or put another podcast up on Wednesday or Thursday this week. So I've got a little bit of homework to do, but I got to say, the ground game for this team is going to continue to be great. And if we can figure out the air attack with this football team, and if we can keep going into these games with the heart and the fire and the passion that we had coming into this game against Purdue, where we walked into somebody else's house and said, you're not going to beat us no matter how hard you try. If we can bring that energy back home and say the same thing to Miami, Ohio, and Louisville, and Georgia Tech, and FSU, and Southern Cal, and Stanford, we can win 11 games this season. Because we can beat any team in the country based on the way that we played yesterday. And that's bar none. We could beat any team on any given day if we play with that kind of passion. Some things to be concerned about. Depth in the offensive line. Rocco Spindler stepped in. He did a great job yesterday taking over at right guard. So, but we're missing a starting guard and a starting center now. And, and Jordan Botello's hurt too. So we're down some starters. I think Young's going to get it done at that Viper position. He's going to do a great job. We got to be excited about some of these younger guys that came in and played yesterday. Kennedy Urlacher, man, he was flying all over the field. He might be number 3 on the depth chart right now, but I don't think that 3rd spot means a whole lot right now. Give it a year or two, and we'll see what happens there. He's going to have to play. Whether he plays at free safety or he plays somewhere else. Now, he's stuck behind Xavier Watts right now. No question about it. But at some point, Kennedy Urlacher is going to be playing football at Notre Dame in a starting capacity. And whether it's at that free safety spot or someplace else, I have no idea. He came in at 6'2", 199 pounds. He keeps putting on weight. He might be the next Viper. Or the next, maybe they put him at strong safety. But he certainly has the ability to make a difference in the backfield, in the defensive backfield. All right. That's all I've got for today. I'll see you all again Wednesday. Thanks so much. Love you all. God bless. Go Irish.